Okay, today was the date scheduled for sentencing for both co-defendants. I do have pre-sentence reports prepared for each of them. For Mr. Micah Potter was prepared on the 22nd, and then for Ms. Kelly Ray Potter was prepared on the 21st. Council, did you get a copy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
The people have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we need to make any corrections, updates, or deletions?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
All right, pause right here. This is a textbook sentencing setup. Everyone's confirmed the reports, no objections from either side, which tells us something important. The real fight isn't about guilt anymore, it's about consequences. From this point on, the judge has wide discretion, and everything said next is about damage control.
Not on behalf of Michael Potter.
And no, not on behalf of Kelly Potter.
Make allocation.
All right, Your Honor, thank you for your time, and we appreciate the prosecutor's resolution in this matter. Obviously, Ms. Potter didn't want to find herself in this situation. She, single mom, working full-time with her own home, and obviously it got into a state where it wasn't habitable for anyone, including the animals. And that's why it was red tagged. But since then, she has obviously cleaned up the property. It's also been fixed up so that the red tag has been removed. They're now living there safely and healthy. So, Your Honor, all that being said, she's obviously very remorseful. She didn't want any harm to come to the animals or nor anyone else, including, obviously, like you said, that they were living in there too. So it was conditions that they were subjecting themselves to as well. So, she obviously regrets that, and I don't believe that she'll ever.
This is the defense doing what defense attorneys do best, humanizing the defendant. You'll hear phrases like single mom, working full-time, remorseful. None of that erases the offense, but it absolutely matters at sentencing. Judges don't just sentence crimes, they sentence people. Question for you, how much weight should personal hardship carry when animals are involved?
It'll ever happen again, Your Honor. The recommendations, while we don't have any objections to them, my concern is that a term of probation, the costs associated with it, and also what is being recommended as a cognitive behavioral therapy programming. There is I think her financial situation was included in the report. It's obviously I think it was Nathaniel Nevis said that yes, it's not reported that she has a financial hardship, but I mean, just looking at the numbers, it's cutting it pretty thin for her household. Now, of course, Micah also now works full time, which is a good help. But Your Honor, that was our only concern, is that the added costs and if setting her back, obviously. But other than that, Your Honor, we have no objections or recommendations.
And Your Honor, regarding Michael Potter, I would just ask that you grant him a higher status. He is 18 years old. This was a situation where, again, he's indigent, very distraught.
Notice the pivot here. Now we're talking about the son. He's 18, legally an adult, but just barely. That indigent label matters. It signals limited resources, limited support, and it's often the difference between rehabilitation-focused probation or harsher penalties. This is where the court starts separating responsibility from capacity.
As far as losing his dogs and not being able to pay for them, I would just actually grant him a higher status term of probation.
Does either of your clients want to make a statement? No. Well, I do have a question for you, Ms. Carter, because I remember the date of the plea and then the other hearing that was held after that to address the custody of those animals. In My impression is that you're not living, you weren't living with him.
It's my home. I own the home. It's
I
my
didn't
home.
ask you.
Yes, I live at the home. He lives at the home. It's
Okay.
been our residential address for 8 years.
Right, but that wasn't the impression based off the evidence. The impression that I received based off the evidence is essentially that Mike is pretty much over there on his own.
Oh, man. I live in the residence. I work third shift. I'm there all day.
Okay,
It's been my residence for 7 years for both of us.
okay, so you're, and you don't have any other
I have
resident,
no other
okay.
residences, no.
Okay, and so you all have gotten a grasp of the home.
Yes, ma'am. Fully remodeled.
It's being fully
Fully
remodeled now?
remodeled.
Okay, and the red tag has been removed?
Yes, it was
Oh.
removed before our last.
This exchange is more important than it sounds. The judge is clarifying who actually lived there and who had control of the home. In legal terms, this goes straight to responsibility. Ownership, residency, and control can change how blame is shared or shifted. Watch how carefully the judge locks this down.
last court date.
Okay, you own this home?
I own this home. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, and then for you, Mr. Carter, you're working now?
I was working before, so
I do vaguely remember that. You're working, and where are you working?
my residence.
Okay, and that's been going well? What else have you been doing?
I don't have time for it.
You're working a lot.
I want to say that, but waking up in the morning is hard for me when I get out of work because I'm super tired.
He works first shift.
You work-
So he
you work-
gets out of work and goes to sleep.
So you work first shift?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say, this was a hard one. I remember how emotional you were, Mr. Carter, because it was evident that you had a lot of love and care and an emotional attachment to the animals, but obviously not in a position to properly take care of them at the time. And even just based on what you're saying now, how tired you are by working, it doesn't sound like physically you were in a position to care for that amount of dogs, but hopefully this is a life lesson for you, and in the future, as you mature, if you decide that you want to be an owner of pets again, you'll learn to take better care and keep better care, but not even just for them, for your own health. The conditions, the pictures that I saw were, it's not healthy for either of you. And so hopefully it's not just about remodeling the home, it's also about how you maintain the property and how you steward.
This is the emotional core of the hearing. The judge isn't yelling, isn't grandstanding, but this is a clear moral line. Love for animals isn't enough. The court is saying intent doesn't outweigh impact. And that phrase, good steward, that's not just advice, that's a warning for the future.
You got to be a good steward over the things that you have. And so hopefully that we both have learned something from that. I don't see anything in the recommendation that I believe is unfair. I think that they're both reasonable recommendations. As to you, Mr. Potter, I will adopt the recommendation for a term of probation so that you can have status under HIDA. So that will be 6 months probation. Following probation, I am going to require that you maintain employment and provide verification of that. You're not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior, and you're not to possess any animals while on probation. Okay? You're not old enough to drink, so that's not an issue. And you're not old enough to be in nightclubs and bars, but I'll go ahead and check it off to the extent You're not to be at any nightclubs or bars while on probation. I'm not gonna order you to do testing, because it has nothing to do with that level of behavior. You have a question?
So like, if they sell alcohol at all, just don't even walk in there, because like, I've said.
Not a restaurant, so not, like most restaurants have bars, so I'm not saying you can't go to a
Like
bar and
Applebee's.
grill. I was gonna say Applebee's, I'm not saying you can't go there. I'm saying you can't go to a place that is just a bar, and the type of place we're actually talking about, you're not even old enough to
Yeah,
go
honestly,
to.
I've never been, I
Yeah,
don't think
so-
I've ever been in.
So not a restaurant though, obviously most restaurants have a bar that you shouldn't be sitting at because of your age anyways.
But he does like Applebee's.
Yeah, no, you're free to go to Applebee's if that's what you want to do. And that's the only requirement, I think, at this time for you. I can really want to see that you're working, that you're maintaining employment. And I am going to require that you do some cognitive therapy.
Here's the bottom line: probation, employment requirements, therapy, and a total ban on owning animals for both defendants. This isn't about punishment alone, it's about prevention. The court is betting that structure and accountability will stop this from ever happening again. Do you think probation like this actually works, or is it just delaying the next mistake?
I think for both of you. And so you can get that information as to where you're eligible to do that from your probation officer, okay? There's a $30 per month oversight fee that you're responsible for while on probation. So for 6 months, it's $180. There's a $75 crime victim rights fee that must be assessed. There's a $50 state minimum cost that must be assessed. Mr. Gilliday, I don't believe that there's restitution on this, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
I'll waive discretionary fines and costs, so that's $305 total fines and costs, and you'll make monthly payments on that, okay? And then for you, Ms. Potter. That'll be 6 months probation as well. There's a $30 per month oversight fee that you're responsible for. Not to engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior, nor are you to possess any animals while on probation, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're ordered to maintain your employment and to complete cognitive behavioral therapy at a Class A training facility, okay? I'm not gonna require any other conditions. There's a $75 crime victim rights fee that must be assessed per statute. It's a $50 state minimum cost, $30 per month oversight fee for probation. So that's a total of $300.
No, I don't know. Are you still waiting?
Yes, he's still waiting. That's $305 for your probation and cost total. And for 6 months, both of you will have a monthly payment that'll be due of about $50 per month, okay? You're not being ordered to test, so you don't have to pay for that, okay? Do you have any questions at this time? Do you have any questions at this time? Okay, I'm gonna give you both the advice of rights as to probation. It tells you about your rights to request early discharge from probation so long as you completed half the original term ordered by the court and you've not had any violations. I believe your names are on each of them. No violations within the 90 days preceding that request. Your probation officer can make the request on your behalf, or you can make that request for yourself by using the court's form, the NC 512 form. It's on the court website, or you can ask your probation officer to give you the form. You will complete the form, file a copy at the probation office, but you must also serve a copy on the prosecutor. The prosecutor would have 14 days to respond in writing if they object to your early discharge from probation. If I set it for a hearing to address your request for early discharge, you have the right to hire an attorney to represent you. You obviously can represent yourself, but to date, I've never held a hearing for early discharge, okay? But you would not have a right to a court-appointed counsel for early discharge hearing, okay? Do either of you have any questions about those rights? Okay, well, I want you to both check in downstairs with probation before you leave. And best wishes to you both.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I just do want to confirm that with Michael Potter, that you were a hiding status.
And would I be able to just show my check stub for that to be proof that I have a job still?
Yeah, we will show it to your probation.
All right.